Hello again, everyone, friends and subscribers. Kernel of Corn here. No, wait, not that one. Yeah.
Shut up, you noobs! This is your girl. I say this on drugs. No, not that one. Wait.
Ah yes, here we go. No one and nothing can stop the unstoppable juggernaut that is Smugtition. Let me see, no, that's not what I want. Who am I?
None other than Humble Kitty!
But who am I, really? None other than...
Man of the hour, General Half-Track. And the difference between me and everybody else is, I make this look good. Alright, enough playing around with this thing. Just decided that I wanted to spend a little time just gagging around, messing around with some laptop. Actually, I don't do laptops, I don't like laptops, even though I think after I get all my motorcycle work done and repaired, I might be in the market for one, I don't know. Let me do something a little more. Oh yeah, why don't we try this instead? There, that ought to be disturbing enough. Considerably less disturbing than the other icon and avatar that I use on my 1984 channel, which, I don't know, sets a lot of people at ill ease, so I was kind of thinking, well, I don't know, maybe since it has that effect on folks, maybe I'll switch it out with this one. I don't know yet, we'll see. But anyway, as I was saying, I've been borrowing my fiance's laptop of late in order to bring to work with me to break the monotony and to try to get some little extra stuff done and catch up on a few things. And that was, well, I had a large part to do with the fact that her original operating system on this thing is just shot to you-know-where. And until we actually regain access to the original software package, we just tried to do whatever little things that we could do in the interim. And not a whole lot is really happening. Different functionalities are not working as they're supposed to be. Having to switch back and forth between safe mode and proper mode, and then all your applications don't work in either mode. And it got to be one big convoluted mess. And so what I decided I wanted to do was try to figure out how to put a Linux partition on this thing so that there would be 3 options now in order to try to do all the little stuff that we wanted to do on this thing. But as a result of the fact that it was kind of acting kind of screwy, I figured, well, I'll let her hammer away on that at home when I'm away, and I can bring this thing to work to just lollygag around a little bit, listen to my audiobooks or play DVDs or something, just to, again, break the dry spells, which tend to be pretty frequent here, at least for my work shift. And during that whole process, of course, as I said, I kept trying to examine it, trying to figure out how am I going to install Linux on this thing, and still trying to do whatever diagnostics I can outside of actually having the original software suite, and failing miserably. So obviously we're going to actually need the original software package in order to just do a complete scrub and reinstall of the original software program. But as I was saying, trying to get a feel for this Windows 7 operating system, which I think is total garbage, and working with a Dell computer, which has a long history of being garbage. I would never, ever own a Dell unless somebody actually just gave me a Dell, which I would take straight to the pawn shop and switch it out for a Sony or an HP or something else. Hell, I would even switch it out for a damn Acer or what's that other no-name brand thing that they've come out with now that's trying to put their foot in the market. I don't know. I don't care. If it's not Dell, I would welcome that before I would welcome a Dell. No. Scratch Dell completely off the list. But it seemed like Dell had this interesting little a video recording package where you could do like your own little webcam videos and all this other stuff. And playing around with it, or trying to get familiarized with it, that's when I discovered where Humble Queen got a Humble Kitty from. And of course I saw all the other little neat things that are part of this whole routine. And I just started, again, curiosity being what it is with me, I just decided to just go ahead, just playing with things, testing things out, seeing what I could do with them. And it's a nice little software package, actually. I'm very impressed with it. It's a hell of a lot more, in some ways, actually in a lot of ways, it's more flexible than my Logitech. But there are also other things about my Logitech which I also prefer over this one. But had it been a situation where I could actually switch off ideas from one to the other, you can make a pretty dynamite little webcam system here. So anyway, part of what I was discovering was that this particular program actually had a whole range of different things that you could do to tweak it, little filters, facial distortions, and it also had audio manipulation software. And that caught my attention because, as many if not most of you are well aware, that I had some attention ho, baby mama ho, decide to quote-unquote expose me and my XO as supposedly being the same person. And seeing the whole list of things that I could work with in this software program as far as the voice manipulation and software and all that, I decided to go ahead and play around with it just to see if I could actually pull something like that off where I could play the part of two totally different personas and actually use that to play a role. And the answer was a resounding no. At least not convincingly, which of course anybody with half of a listening ear could automatically tell when somebody's using voice manipulation software to cover their real identity. Ms. Stepping Razor, anyone? Yeah, we know the story behind that one. But anyway, I found that if there's a situation where anybody's really not paying that much close attention to it, then yeah, they just might come away with the idea that, hey, maybe somebody's playing a role or something of that sort. But again, as I said, anybody whose ears work halfway normally, you could catch wind of that a sonic boom away. Even when the attention-whoring baby mama ho decided to give a demonstration of how it was supposedly done with something called Morphbox, I think she called it. It was like, come on, don't even try it. I mean, yeah, that stuff is fun, but at the end of the day, it's like, look, if anybody's going to try to deceive anybody like that, they're going to spend some ducats, okay? And I ain't got that kind of money to be playing around for all these techno toys and all this other stuff. I got other things to spend my money on, which are a hell of a lot more important and more beneficial to my life. But anyway, I decided to play a little bit of extra time on this thing too, because the fact that after all the hassles that we're still having with this laptop, as I said, we still need the original software package for Windows 7, which if I had my way about it, I'd just scrub that off and just upload a Windows XP system on top of it, but you can never downgrade like that, so that's an impossibility. I don't know, maybe if I got an external hard drive I might be able to do something like that, I'm not sure. But with that normal operating system jacking up and keeping us from going online for some odd reason, the only way that we could get online was to put that Linux partition in there. That is, if we wanted the full functionality of both things like the surfing and audio and streaming video and all that mess. Otherwise, the only other option was the safe mode in Windows, which, since I put the Linux partition on top of it, I was under the impression that I had scrubbed off the safe mode portion of the operating system. So with that scenario, there was absolutely no way that I could record anything on this Webcam Central and be able to transfer it over or get access to it from the Linux partition, which I thought that once you put another operating system partition on a system, you would still have access to the original operating system to where you could do, and I know there's a way to do it but I can't figure out how to do it in this instance, or I don't understand why it's not working in that capacity. So I just chalked it all up to, it's like, okay, failed experiment. I thought I knew what I was doing, I didn't. also just kicked myself for making all these long videos because I kept trying to figure out ways to actually email video attachments to them, but apparently I don't even know what the limit is on the blasted thing, because I can't, no matter what size of video file I keep trying to send, it just doesn't go through. It keeps getting smacked back. And I've asked her a couple of times to register a Yahoo account, so that way when I do have a large video file that I can send directly to their email via Yahoo. But the story of my life is whenever I ask anybody a favor, I tend to get ignored. And that's just been a forever thing with me. Don't ask me why. But I've just learned that I can't trust anybody to catch my back or to follow through on anything. Sadly, that includes members of my own family. It's just a curse that I have to live with. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But anywho, being the eternal, I'll be damned if I'll go down and defeat non-defeatist type, I continue to just keep hacking away and manipulating with things and just trying to figure out what I could figure out with what's already there, what I already have access to, trying to learn things, trying to figure things out, trying to see if I can find a workaround on something or the other. And as a part of all that, I accidentally actually found out that I actually can still go back to any video program that I'm working on in the laptop and gain access to it, to where I can actually set it up in such a way to where I can pull it out of one environment over into another environment, work on it, tweak it, whatever, and basically play around with it as I pretty much normally would. It just means that I have to go through an extra 5 or 6 steps in order to do it, but it can be done. Anyway, so I guess what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of hours after this is trying to piece together all these little different hacked out segments and stuff in order to try to get everything looking like a smooth flowing project and all, because when I try to switch over from one element to the other in this program, it's really choppy, and you just don't, there's not a smooth transition. It's the same sort of thing in the, my Logitech system also. But here in this Dell Webcam Central thing required me to actually record things in brief snippets and what all, and I have to actually come back into it and run things through the video editing software, which I encouraged my fiance to download the Windows Movie Maker Vista version, because that Windows Live thing is just pure garbage. I don't know how anybody works with that thing. I can't figure it out. And from what I've heard from a lot of people who've made the transition from XP/Vista over to Windows 7 to this Live Movie Maker nonsense, their gripes are pretty much along the same lines. Seems I have a little bit extra flexibility in some areas, but as a general rule, it's just extremely user unfriendly, and I can't make heads or tails of it. So I'm just going to stick with what I know, and of course, that's part of my philosophy. If it ain't broke, don't break it. But, you know, people in the computing programming world and engineering, all of this stuff, they don't know how to listen to the sentiments of the people as far as, you know, hey, once we've got something that we know it works and it works well, leave it to Jack alone. Kind of like trying to tell YouTube to go back to the classic channel setup. Yeah, good luck with that one. They keep changing stuff, and they're still changing stuff, and they keep changing stuff. They won't leave it alone. I'm like, look, if they really want to change something and really make it a really inviting system, just go back to the way it was. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, and of course, the choir is not and never has been and never will be the programmers at GoogleTube. So anyway, with that, let me shut out of here.
Let me head on out of here and get my Hollywood director thing going on. Colonel of Corn, signing out. Aloha!